2015 Civil Achievement FFA officers, your historians, Beck Green and Mackenzie Walter. FFA Treasurer Sarah Egging and Sentinel Carson Marco. Your FFA Secretary Maddie Lodeman and Vice President Mystic Henningsen. FFA Advisor, Mr. Brian Gatwood, and FFA President Josh Wagner.
The auditorium will come to order. We're now holding the annual banquet of the Silvio Cheat FFA chapter. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their station?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there.
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open at all times and our friends are welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the meeting room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporters.
The reporters are stationed by the flag.
By the flag.
As the flag covers the United States of America, so we strive to inform the people in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The Treasurer.
Stationed by the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there.
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standings through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The Secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The Advisor.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom. Being older than the rest of you, I'm asked to advise you from time to time as need arises. I hope that my advice can always be based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom. Madam Vice President, why do you keep the plow at your station?
The plow is a symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our President, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the President so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our President, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call roll of members.
The Sibley Ocheyedan FFA chapter is the largest high school chapter in Northwest Iowa and the fourth largest high school chapter in the state. 52% of the SO high school students are members of the FFA, making it one of the very largest student activities in our school. At this time, we would like to recognize all of our in-school members with a roll call slide presentation. Please direct your attention to the screen as each of our members is highlighted. Mr. President, I am proud to announce that we have 98 members and 271 guests present.
FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor, agriculture, opportunities, and responsibilities, and know those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this meeting of the Silvio Cheaton FFA Banquet duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matter which may properly be presented. Good evening and welcome to the 2015 Silvio Cheaton FFA Banquet. On behalf of the office team and myself, I would thank all of you for your attendance. The community support we have received throughout this year is truly breathtaking. Your support with the pork chop supper, food sales, super pie supper, and of course, your generous donations we received to hire our second ag teacher. Your support for the future leaders of Markham is what makes our community so great. Tonight, we will highlight some of our many, many accomplishments throughout the year. We will find out who is going to win the $1,500 travel voucher, recognize each and every one of our members for their hard work throughout this year, recognize some of our chapter's biggest supporters, hear from our new instructor, and of course, introduce our new FFA officers. But at this time, I want to introduce you guys to someone special in my life. He's always been there for me and has taught me many life lessons in my life, whether I wanted to hear it or not. Some people may call him Clayton Wagner, but I call him Dad. Let's give him a big round of applause as he's my very young student speech.
Wow, where is this year going? It's like I can remember last year just sitting right down there listening to Rod Vanderbeek give his speech. I thought, yeah, that'll be me next year. Afterwards, I talked to Rod, and he gave me some good advice. He said, when you're up there, you can't see anybody past the first few rows anyway, so the lights are in your eyes, so that helps a little bit. And he said, don't let Josh tell you he's going to write your speech for you, and then the night of the banquet, tell you to just wing it. That's what happened to Rod last year, so I made sure I wrote my speech out. Now, before I get started with my speech, I thought I'd like to look a little more distinguished with my jacket. It's only been a few years, about 30. Good thing Mr. Earl always ordered jackets a little bit bigger so they fit a little longer. Okay. First, I'd like to talk to you kids right down here in the front. 30 years ago, I sat where you were at, and all through high school, I thought I had to work to make money. I missed out on a lot of school activities. This is the best 4 years of your life in high school right now. You have many opportunities here at Civil Achievement. FFA, band, choir, speech, and sports. Take advantage of your opportunities. Go out for sports, band, enjoy these 4 years. You have the rest of your life to work. Trust me, I know. And second, I'd like to talk to the rest of you. Without your support, none of this would be possible. Teachers, thank you. Mr. Town, Mr. Board, thank you for your support. Don't want to leave anybody out. Parents and grandparents, thank you for coming and supporting your child or children. I don't want to forget the rest of you, the community. You are a valuable part of the FFA program, and a big thank you for your support. Next, I'd like to thank Mr. Gottlieb for many, many hours he and Lori put in. I feel like Brian fits right in with our family. If you know Brian, don't tell him he can't do it, because he will do the best to prove you wrong. And Josh is the same way. They are both excellent leaders. I can't thank you enough, Brian, for all you do for the FFA. Now, about next year, I think we need to find someone, maybe a lady friend, to take your mind off work. I'd just like to see you relax a little bit. If you'd like, we could do a profile on farmersonly.com. Next, Josh. I want to thank you as well. When you came home that night from officer election meeting, and told us you were elected president, I knew you would do an excellent job. God has given you a special talent, and that is leadership. Whether in FFA or football or life in general, your mother and I were so proud of you when you played football with all your heart. Even when you got injured and couldn't play, not once did you hold your head down. You stepped up and became a coach from the sideline and led your team in a motivational speech before the HMS home game, which we won. Your mom, your brothers, and I are very proud of you, Josh, and are excited to see how God will lead you at SDSU. In conclusion, thank you, students, for all your hard work you do, whether it be at the pancake breakfast, serving us, or the lunch stand at the fair, petting zoo, soup supper, Iowa chop supper, fruit sales, business appreciation, sack lunches in the fall, senior citizens prom at the nursing home, and all you do at Hawkeye Point. Man, are you kids busy. It's exciting to see all the opportunities you have with the FFA and with the new teacher coming on board next year. That's exciting. So set your goals now for the next year, and remember, these are the best 4 years of your life. Thank you.
Thanks, Dad. At this time, we'll now have our special service award presentation. I now call forward Renee Miranda.
The FFA is fortunate to have many great supporters in our community. Tonight, we would like to recognize a couple who have invested their time and resources to help our chapter. Looking back at 2014, the biggest accomplishment by far was expanding the lunch stand. This involved many volunteers who invested countless hours making it possible. When we looked at the list of all those who contributed and looked at the list of past recipients for this award, we realized there's one business who hasn't been recognized yet for all of their support through the years. The recipient of the year's Special Service Award donated all the hours their employees worked watering the lunch stand. They ensured that the FFA had plenty of outlets in the correct locations for all of our appliances. In addition to that, they brought in several employees at the last minute to wrap up the projects the morning of the fair. The recipients of this award were unable to make it tonight. However, it is my honor to announce that the recipient of the 2014 Sibley and FFA Special Service Award is Ed and Crystal Stroud. I now call forward Beck Green to introduce our keynote speaker.
As a freshman, I always thought it would be cool to have that one person you can look up to. Our next speaker seemed like the perfect type of person to be that role model. He's done a great job of being a perfect example. During these years of FFA, he has served as the SO Chapter President, the District Vice President, and is currently serving as the 2014 and 2015 Northwest District President, and also the 2014-2015 Northwest District State Vice President. He has been a great leader over the years for everyone who knows him. I would now like to introduce a close friend of mine and our Northwest District State Vice President, Devin Vanderveen.
Awesome, thanks, Beck. So, like Clayton just said, I want to start off by talking to you guys right up here. All right, parents, supporters, don't let me forget about you later, I'll get to you, but you guys are really what I want to get to tonight, all right? So when you guys come out here and you zip up your blue corduroy jackets every night, there's one thing that I like to think of, especially when I zip up my own jacket. The opportunities that we have in this organization are insane. All right, throughout this past year, I've had the opportunity to travel all across this state, and now I'm not just going to stand here and say, oh, I've been here, I've been there, you know, this is cool, I met so-and-so, but literally the people I've met are outstanding. Within this past month, I've been everywhere from Van Horn, Iowa, which I thought I could drive home to in one day, when I found out it was like 5.5 hours across the state. I've been to Leon, which is, by asking the members when I was there, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes by car, or, you know, I could get out on 2 feet and walk there to the Missouri border. All right, and trust me, I've been down there pretty close. When you get anywhere within like an hour of Missouri, you're in Missouri. All right. But specifically, one place that's really stood out to me this past year was when I did an 8th grade recruitment activity in Leon at Central Decatur High School. So me and a couple of my teammates, we made the trip down. It's about 2.5 hours from where we were. I didn't think there was that much of Iowa south of like Des Moines. I thought Des Moines was just kind of the bottom. Until I found out that, you know, we could get even closer to Missouri. That kind of scared me in the first place. But we get on down there and find out we only have about an hour with these 8th graders. So Central Decatur FFA program is fortunate enough to have an 8th grade program. Granted, they don't have 7th graders, but they do have 8th graders in their FFA program. So Ms. Sontag, the ag teacher down at Central Decatur, decided that we would take the last hour of the day and do some activities with their 8th grade members to get them a little amped up before they get into high school FFA. So me and 3 of my teammates had some activities put together. They gave us the high school gym for the day. And as we're going around, I'm just kind of keeping my eye on some of these students. You know, I'm kind of picking through and seeing, you know, which ones I want to work a little closer with, which ones, you know, kind of get the gist of things. And I could tell there was a few that really weren't interested, some that really just kind of wanted to go home for the day. There's a few that just kind of went through the motions and acted excited that we were there. But there's this one. FFA member Zane was his name. And through every activity we did, it seemed like Zane was the one who, when we asked what questions are there before we begin this activity, he made sure to ask a question, just to make sure that the rest of the group knew what was going on. I made sure that every time we did an activity, Zane was the first one to step up and make sure that the activity was set up before I could even do it. It's almost as if Zane knew the directions to what I was doing before I could even tell him. You see, as we went through all these activities, I kind of watched Zane as he went throughout the gym, and he was the one pulling the rest of his classmates along, making sure everyone was tuned in. But when I watched the rest of the classmates around him, they weren't really following his vibes. You know, he was the one who maybe was a little more quiet in class, or the one who was a little more excited about FFA that the kids really didn't think it was necessary. So at the end of the day, you know, we got these kids all pretty excited and what appeared to be pretty excited, and we went through all these activities and talked to them, and in the end of this hour, we found out our time was up. So we gathered all the students, put them in the bleachers, and Miss Sontag, the ag teacher down there, asked for a round of applause for us. And we went down the line, me and my teammates, and introduced ourselves, told them where we were from. They had the same reaction when I told them that I live 10 minutes from Minnesota, and they didn't think that that was a true thing, that people from that far away could come all the way to 10 minutes from Missouri and actually care who they are. But we had a great experience that day, but as the rest of the students decided to file out of the gym as we were wrapping up, Zane stood around, and he walked up to Miss Sontag, the ag teacher, as I was holding a side conversation with her, thanking her again for the opportunity, and he just kind of tugged on her side a little bit, and she said, "Zane, no, not now, I'm talking." And I was like, "No, that's fine, go ahead, talk to Zane really quick, we're wrapping up here anyway." And I heard out of the corner of my ear as I was talking to my teammates, he said, "Miss Sontag?" She said, "Yeah, what?" He said, "How could I, do you think maybe," and he couldn't get the words out of his mouth. He finally mustered up the courage and said, "Miss Sontag, do you think me and some of my classmates could do something like this for the 7th graders?" She looked at him, and the words she said still stick in my head to this day. She said, "Zane, what is stopping you? Who is stopping you? Who says you can't do this with the 7th graders?" First thing he did after that, without responding to Miss Sontag, walks up to me and says, "Hi, Devin, my name's Zane. Do you have a business card? I'd like to get a hold of you so we can do some of these activities with the 7th graders." Luckily for him, I did have a business card on me that day. Gave him my business card, and actually, he sent me an email through his parents' email address asking for some of the information on the activities that we had done that day so that he could round up some of his 8th grade classmates to do this with the 7th graders. You see, Zane was one of those members that understood the opportunities he has with the time he's given. You know, we're only allowed so many years to be able to put on this blue jacket. Luckily, Clayton still fits him. But we're able to actually act upon what we're doing with this blue jacket at the time. The opportunities we're given were understood by Zane in that moment. Zane hasn't even gotten a blue jacket yet. So with these opportunities we're given, it always reminds me of one story. I know some of my district officer teammates have heard this one before, but it goes a little bit something like this. There once was an old farmer who had a beautiful daughter. There was a young man across the road who worked for this farmer and just decided to notice how beautiful his daughter really was. As he worked for this old man all summer long, he kind of built a little bit of a connection with the old man's daughter, and one day he mustered up the courage to go ask for her hand in marriage. Of course, the old man said, "Sure, you can marry my daughter on one condition." The young man said, "Okay, sure, she's beautiful, what do I have to do?" So without answering, the elderly farmer brings the young man out into the barnyard and tells him to stand right out in the middle of the yard while the old man stays on the other side of the fence, and the young man's starting to get a little confused. While the elderly farmer walks into the pen and up to the barn door, he says, "All right, I've got 3 bulls in the barn here. If you can catch one of the 3 by the tail, you can marry my daughter." The young man said, "3 bulls? I've been working for you all summer. I could catch these bulls in my sleep." So the farmer kind of chuckles, turns, opens the door, and runs out of the pen. The young man looks forward. He's never seen a bigger bull in his life. Somehow this elderly man's been keeping these bulls locked up for this moment because he's never seen these bulls before. The first bull charges out of the gates, and the young man runs off to the side of the pen and climbs out, letting the bull go by, thinking there's no way there can be another bull bigger than this one. The second one has to be much smaller. So slowly going back towards the middle of the pen, the old man walks in, says, "All right, you got 2 more chances." Opens the door again, and the young man in his confident stance stands there. Never seen one this big. This one was bigger and stronger than the first bull, and it's the biggest he still has ever seen in his life. Now as this bull's blowing snot and tramping his hooves in the dirt, he knows there's no way he's going to catch this bull by the tail. As the bull takes off towards him, the man runs and jumps over the gate into the old man's arms, terrified for his life. The old man sets him down, says, "All right, you got 1 more shot," and just walks away with a little bit of a chuckle. The young man says, "Okay, 2 biggest bulls I've seen in my life. I swear if the third one's this big, I don't need to go any slower." So stands there, gets confident again, thinking, okay, here we go. Old man opens the gate. Smallest, weakest, how is that even a bull? It was a calf. Just a young little bull calf standing in that doorway thinking, God, of course I'm going to marry his daughter. This thing's tiny. So the little bull calf comes running at him and gets in a confident stance and lunges for the tail, both hands. Awesome. Confidence, he looks at his hands, thinking he caught the bull, opens them. There was nothing. Realizing as the bull ran by, he looked back at it, noticed the third bull had no tail. You see, the farmer knew all along that the young man was going to wait until the last minute to try and catch this last bull. But the young man didn't think that he would get in trouble that third time. You see, if you think about it, these opportunities we're given and the time we're given with these blue jackets, they don't all come again. 10 years down the road, you don't get to pick up your jacket and say, I'm going to go attend this conference. 10 years down the road, you don't get to say, I get to do this again because it was presented to me when I was in high school and I didn't take it. Some of these opportunities don't come to us. He passed up his last chance. You know, guys, when you sit here and you zip up this blue jacket, are you doing it out of the motions, or are you doing it because you know that when you put it on, you can take on a sense of pride and responsibility at taking advantage of every opportunity that's given to you? You know, throughout the FFA, there's many different things you can learn and attend, and sometimes it just gets a little overwhelming. You know, this activity here, selling this there, making sure you're at this time, making sure you look like this, dress like this, and make sure that you are making sure everyone is satisfied at all times. But quite honestly, that's what it's all about. Because those are the opportunities that are going to make you a business leader someday, that are going to make you as successful as you can be. And quite honestly, that's what's going to make the difference in someone else's life. You know, I think back to that story and think maybe it wasn't the young man that was missing out. Maybe it was the elderly man's smoking hot daughter standing on the outside saying, "Come on, son, you should have known that bull didn't have a tail." It's the people around us who are impacted by these opportunities just as much as they impact us. You know, throughout this year, I've had many opportunities traveling here, there, everywhere, meeting with anyone from Zane at Central Decatur High School to the upcoming state officer candidates running for the very position I'm in today. And every single one of them understands the opportunities that are given to them in this blue jacket. You know, I never take for granted the time I have to come back home, to see all you guys again, to see the community that supported me this whole way. And I thank all of you, everyone in the community that's made this chapter so blessed, everyone in this chapter that supported me along the way, and supported the community just as much as they support us. I really appreciate you guys asking me to come back tonight. It's a great pleasure to be in front of you all again. Thank you very much.
With this token of our appreciation. Your service and the best at convention coming up in a couple weeks. I now call forward Zach Sandin for the first Distinguished Service Award.
At this time, it is my great privilege to present the first 2014-2015 Distinguished Service Award. Sarah Edding, could you please escort my dad, Rick Stanton, to the stage? Dad, we thank you for all your support whenever it is needed. You have constantly been there for us over the years, providing us with many resources. Your help was so much appreciated when the addition to the lunch stand was in process. You donated many hours and resources in order for our lunch stand to be a success this year. You were not asked to donate any of your time, but out of your good heart you decided to do what's best for the future leaders of tomorrow. Although you didn't have to donate to our organization, you chose to invest in the youth of our community and provide us with many resources. Please know how much we appreciate your encouragement and belief in our efforts. Please join me in recognizing Rick Stanton, my father, as our 2014-2015 Distinguished Service Award recipient.
Congratulations again, Stillby Sheet Metal. It is my pleasure to announce the second 2014-2015 Distinguished Service Award. As Zach just mentioned, the FFA members, through the support of many generous sponsors, expanded the FFA lunch stands and county fair bathrooms. As an alumni FFA member, this individual generously donated all of the spray and insulation for the new building. He also added more insulation to the existing lunch stand. The FFA members, families, and all of our guests greatly appreciate him donating not only his time, but also his materials for the benefit of the county fair experience. We hope that he will realize how much he will be appreciated, but through his continuous support. The recipient of this award were unable to make it tonight. However, it is my honor to announce that the recipient of the 2014-2015 Silvio Cheaton FFA Distinguished Service Award goes to Trappist Daigle.
At this time, we are pleased to make a special presentation. I would like to ask Marissa and Carson to escort the Friends of the FFA President, Todd Ackerman, and Treasurer Renee Schmidt to the stage. On March 19th, the Friends of the FFA held the 19th Annual Soup and Pie Supper. With all the hard work, the supper was once again a great success, serving over 525 people. We want you to know how much we appreciate all that you and the Friends of the FFA do for us. Throughout the year, they assist with making fruit baskets, chaperoning FFA trips, and raising thousands of dollars for our FFA chapter. Thank you for your belief in us and your continued support to our organization. Dad, thanks for helping out with many of the FFA activities this year, being president of the Friends of the FFA. You were involved in the lunch stand expansion project and also on the committee for fundraising for our second ag instructor. I know you are busy going to meetings at all times of the day. Though it may have messed with your schedule, it benefited the FFA more than you will ever know. On behalf of each member of the FFA, I want to thank you for all you do for us and the FFA chapter. Dad, please accept this sign as a small token of our appreciation.
This year we had another very successful labor auction, soup and pie supper, and dream trip raffle. We would like to thank all those who gave their time, talents, and resources to assist us with these projects. We also want to thank the community for their outstanding support of our local FFA chapter. This year, we supported the chapter in purchasing plasma cam software, expanding the lunch stand, attending national and state FFA conventions, as well as the upcoming junior-senior trip this May. In a moment, we'll announce the 2015 Friends of the FFA scholarships. But first, I'd like to recognize my fellow Friends of the FFA officers. While we do have countless parents helping out at all times, these individuals served on the board, working at a few extra meetings, preparing for upcoming events and Friends of the FFA meetings. First, President Todd Ackerman. And receive a round of applause. Vice President Michelle Ackerman. Who I may add did a fantastic job with our soup and pie. Myself for treasurer. Thank you. Reporter Leroy Egging. And Secretary Tricia Van White. At this time, would Misty Henningsen, Emily Kruger, Jessica Lawrence, Maddie Loneman, Marissa Pham, Reed Van White, Devin Ackerman, and Josh Wagner please come to the side of the stage? On behalf of the Friends of FFA, we are pleased to be able to present scholarships to graduating seniors. These scholarships are possible as a result of the outstanding community support for the FFA and our fundraising activities. At this time, we will be presenting 6 scholarships valued at $300, and the recipients include Misty Henningsen, supporters of the Friends of the FFA. We also want all of the FFA students to know how very proud we are of your accomplishments and the commitment you have to our community. Mr. Gottlieb and Lauren and Heather Lugens will now present the Laura Lugens Memorial Scholarship.
Let's give them one more round of applause. Jocelyn, would you please bring Lauren and Heather to the stage, please? Every year, the Lugens family has presented a scholarship to one student planning to pursue a career in production agriculture in the memory of Lauren's sister, Laura. Laura was a very active member of the Sibley Cheatham FFA chapter and had a strong passion for livestock. In her honor this evening, Lauren and Heather are here to say a few words and present the scholarship.
Well, as Mr. Gottlieb already introduced Laura, she was a very active member of the FFA. She took every opportunity that was offered to her every time she put on the blue jacket, like our speakers today already talked about. She was the first one to be at activities and the last one to leave because that's the way her personality was to help out in every way she possibly could. She loved every aspect of the agricultural business, including the brown Swiss dairy cattle that she loved to show and breed and learn up on genetics. So today we have the honor of presenting a scholarship in her honor to someone going into the agriculture industry. Can I please have Devin Ackerman, new recipient of the Laura Lugens Scholarship.
At this time, would Beck Green please bring Lana and Elizabeth Hifma to the stage. Tonight, Lana and Elizabeth Hifma are here in honor of their husband and father, John Hifma. In his memory, they have generously offered scholarship to one student enrolling in production agriculture. We are thankful for their generosity. Please welcome the Hifma family to the stage to present the John Hifma Memorial Scholarship.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lana Hifma, and this is my daughter, Elizabeth. Tonight we will be presenting the third annual John Hifma Memorial Scholarship. And my speech this year is directed more towards the young men and women that I'm looking at right here with all the blue jackets on. Just like farming, there is a new crop in the fields and a new crop of farmers every year. These young men and women in this room tonight are the newest crop of farmers that are growing in the fields, just like the corn and soybeans that will be growing this summer. As stated in the February 2013 issue of Farm Journal, these new young crop of farmers will be jumping right in with new technology and marketing. Also noted in the article is that only 5% of current principal farm operators are the age 35 and younger. These new farmers come with new opportunities and challenges and need a well-rounded education to meet these challenges. This is another reason for the John Hifma Memorial Scholarship, and that is to help pay for the college expenses. As Ronald Reagan once said, the greatest technological evolution in the world history hasn't really been in space or any other exotic industry, but in American farming. I am confident that these young men and women in this generation of farming will bring even more technology out of the laboratories and into the field. I would expect to see improved efficiency and higher yields in the years to come. The decision on tonight's recipient was a very difficult one. All the applicants showed great potential in the field of agriculture and were all deserving of the scholarship. In closing, I would like to share with you a quote from an ad for Ag Leader Technology. Limits are for highways and credit cards, not for these young men and women that I am looking at today. I believe there are no limits for each and every one of you. You guys do have a lot of opportunities, as everyone has been telling you. So go ahead and take them, because you guys are all the leading edge. Elizabeth and I are proud to announce the 2015 John Hipmel Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $2,500 to
Josh Wagner.
We'd like to thank you again for your generosity. Let's give one more round of applause. I now call forward Marissa Pham for the honorary FFA degree presentation.
At this time, Mystic and Maddie, would you please escort the two recipients of the FFA honorary chapter degree to the stage? Our chapter is fortunate to have many great supporters in our community. One of the highest awards the chapter can bestow upon an adult supporter is the honorary chapter degree. This award is given to those who have demonstrated outstanding support and dedication to the FFA. It is my pleasure to introduce the winners of the 2015 Sibley Cheaton FFA honorary chapter degree award to Carl and Susie Borman. We would like to thank you for the tremendous support and service you have given to the members of the Sibley Cheaton FFA chapter. Your commitment and involvement in the new Agriculture Education Instructor Initiative has been outstanding. Without your efforts, this project would not have been as successful as it proved to be. Your dedication to the Sibley Cheaton FFA chapter is greatly appreciated. We want you to know that your contributions have not gone unnoticed. Without individuals like you, we would not be able to accomplish many of the things we take for granted today. This award is given to those who have demonstrated outstanding support and dedication to the FFA, and you have surely done that for us. Please know it is because of the great respect we have for you that you two have been selected for the honorary chapter FFA degree. On behalf of every FFA member, it is my pleasure to bestow upon you the honorary membership in the Sibley Cheaton FFA chapter.
I would have to say that secretly, I've always wanted one of these, so we need to take one. Thank you very much for the honor. The last few months have just been over the top. And I've never told anybody this before, but 8.5 years ago, we came to Sibley Cheaton. And we were checking out the school because we had a son that was beginning a sophomore year. And I was taken by the signage that is in front of your test plot. and it said, Iowa's largest FFA chapter. And I was so taken with that. And as I was looking at it closer, I noticed that it looked to me that someone had come back and put an NW for Northwest in front of Iowa. And I have to tell you, honestly, I hated that. Because I moved forward from there, and it really helped me focus on what I thought was important that we needed to do. And that was retain population here. And we had to create job opportunities so that we had people that would want to stay here, people that would want to move here and hold on to our younger students that would graduate. And so it was then in the fall that my girl invited us to a ceremony just as we're having tonight. And Susie and I sat out there in the audience someplace, and we had no experience with FFA. And we both looked at each other in amazement because we just couldn't believe what was going on here. Well, Nick went off to college, and then unfortunately, we just became a little bit disengaged from the school because we didn't have anybody in school anymore and no grandchildren here. And then one day I get this call from Mr. Gottlob, and he says, I got an idea for you. I'd like to bring some of the students up to the bank and just give them an opportunity to talk to somebody in business about the future, about careers. I said, well, that'd be great. I can assure you I got a lot more out of that than you did. And then Susie runs off and joins in with the school board, and all of a sudden our house just was kind of spinning on school matters again. And then the next thing I knew, your chapter leadership contacted me, and they said, would it be possible that we could come and talk through with you an idea that we have that we want to take to the school board, because we believe that we need to have a second FFA advisor. And I said, I'd be more than happy to do that. And I'm thinking the whole time before they're coming, what exactly is in that for them? And so when they got there, I had to ask them, why exactly are you doing this? You're seniors in high school. At this point in time, most kids are looking at the future and not really looking back. And you honestly told me, this isn't about us. This is about those that will follow us. We feel that we've inherited a great program, but it's our responsibility to make sure that it stays strong for everyone else that will follow. And I was so taken by that. And I thought, not knowing exactly what FFA was, I thought, if somebody asked me, that's what FFA is. Susie and I were invited by you then this winter during the course of this fundraising to come and say a few words to your chapter. And I remember asking you, if you raise your hand, anybody that would believe that we could actually accomplish this goal of raising $380,000. And I was expecting some kind of, adult lackluster response, like maybe 50% of the hands. Every hand in that room went up. And there were 67 of you. And there was this silence. And again I thought, this is what FFA is. It's that quiet confidence that you can take on any challenge and accomplish it. So we find ourselves here tonight, and we're so excited about the future here and about what this program can be. And I just have to ask you one last question of the chapter. If you could raise your hands, if you think that it's possible as we move forward from here, that we can rectify that sign that you have and put you back as the #1 chapter in the state of Iowa. Does anybody here believe that? You know that? That's what FFA is. You set a goal and then you accomplish it. And there's no doubt in my mind that we can do that. There are so many good things to come. But we deeply appreciate this, and I will put this in a special place so nothing happens to it.
I would just like to say I think this looks awful good on me. I like blue, so thank you very much. As a member of your school board, I cannot say enough how proud I am to be able to represent our communities and to be a part of something that is just so awesome. People around the state are watching what we are doing in Sibley-Ochee, and it is just a very proud moment for me. I think one of the proudest since I have been in Sibley, to be able to say that, yes, I am from Sibley-Ochee, and yes, our school district is in Northwest Iowa, and we're pretty darn special. So thank you for doing that, and thank you to our community for coming through once again to help our school system. And this community is outstanding, but it's very unique. What we have accomplished here would not have happened in most school districts across the state, but I had no doubt that it would happen here, and it did. So thank you very much, and congratulations to the seniors who will be graduating and going off into some great careers, and to the young people. I hope we keep getting to know you a little better, but thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let's give them one more round of applause. And now for Mackenzie Walter for the Year in Review presentation.